Hi, my name's Al Bodson. I'm at Lehigh University, and I'm honored to share Flood Adventures, a flood preparation simulation game that my colleagues and I have been working on. Knowledge of how to prepare for flooding remains an important educational need, as illustrated by the devastation caused by recent flooding events across our planet. It's important that people know what actions to take when a flood is forecasted and understand the risk flooding poses to infrastructure and lives. Our group believes that game-based immersive virtual reality learning environments can help individuals learn about best practices for flood preparation. Our project builds on two theoretical frameworks, Malone's theory of intrinsically motivating instruction and science learning activation theory, which supports or designed for VR game-based learning activities for learning. Our design model inputs that is presented here is derived from the published literature pertaining to VR and game-based learning. It includes perceived usefulness of learning with VR, affordances, and flexible game design features for individual and social learning. Flood Adventures will take place in two game stages. The first stage focuses on flood preparedness, and the second game stage focuses on community resilience planning. Game stage 1 begins at a house located near a creek. A tutorial will explain how to move, pick up, and place items into an inventory system. This is analogous to what one is carrying and will then put to gather objects in the cart. The tutorial ends with a flood emergency warning on the TV. The player learns that a nearby creek is flooding and hears, "Get all your essential items and evacuate the area immediately." Outside, a major thunderstorm occurs. Water begins to flow faster in the creek, and debris starts to rapidly flow downstream as the water level rises. The water begins to rise over the banks of the creek and approaches the house. The scene then shifts back to the house, where the player is given 3 minutes to gather items in the house to place in the cart. The feedback system that is currently being revised is given to the players about how many of the items they gathered were essential, needed that day, very important, needed in the next few days in case you cannot get back into the house, and items that are useful and not very important for daily survival. A point system will rank each of the item categories. This game segment is designed for the players to initially fail and receive a low score. Designing to have the initial attempt fail is meant to creating a learning opportunity for the player and highlights the importance of tasks they must do in response to a flood threat. The game will continue and the player learns about recommended items to have ready in case a flood occurs, the importance of preparing an evacuation route, and the dangers of driving into standing or rising water. During this game segment, the players have time to gather essential items in the house and place them in a flood emergency kit container. Next, the simulation will run again and the player has 3 minutes to gather household items that now includes their flood emergency kit container and load them into the car and drive off. We conducted a usability test of the prototype house and its functionalities, movement, and ability to pick up objects with 24 adult participants that took a desktop VR version. All participants were able to successfully move throughout the different rooms of the house and pick up objects. The participants reported that Flood Adventures was so cool and a fun game. Some participants commented that they enjoyed the cat that walked around the house. Some participants reported that their movement was smooth and did not lag. During the usability testing sessions, we observed that many players used spam clicking techniques to complete the game. That is, they were interacting with the user interface to create sequences of mindless and random clicks during gameplay. The prototype testers had many recommendations for improving the game. One player suggested that the feedback system provide a detailed explanation for their scores. Another player recommended providing more detailed game instructions. One player commented that the game needed to prevent users from spam clicking. Other recommendations from players included enhancing the lighting in the rooms, using different textures on the floors of each room, providing the functionality to open the cabinets, and changing the direction of opening the door into the garage. We are currently refining the prototype of Game Stage 1 in the Unity environment based on our prototype implementation feedback. What you have seen in the video are many changes to the house and outside environment, and you can compare these to the images in our iLRN paper that shows the initial prototype. The house now has different textures on the floors of each room and enhanced lighting. A new inventory system has been created. In addition, we are developing a more detailed feedback system to provide players important dialogue prompts to consider while they are gathering objects in the house.